Good time of the day to you folks, wherever you are at the moment watching this, Babu.com. Bringing you some standard playtest section this time around. Sorry for the inclined positioning, but the setting was quite casual and unexpected and very randomly decided upon. And yeah, we didn't have like the equipment with us that time because I didn't even think that I would be recording anything that day, and it was right after a PPTQ. But me and my friend decided we wanted to play more Magic. We both debated, but we got knocked out in the quarterfinals, both of us. So there was time for us left that day to actually play a bit more, and we had some fun decks with us as well. So what you're gonna see is on the left side of the screen, that's Abzan Company, the deck my teammate actually played at the set event at the PPTQ the same day. And what I'll be playing against him here would be Monogreen Ramp, the Eldrazi deck that he actually had some success at the local store events prior to this PPTQ, but grew a bit tired out of it. Okay, so here I mulligan down to 6, and I'm on the play here. So just a typical forest turn 1. He replied with the hissing quagmire, giggity. Okay, my turn back. Sanctum of Ogin and Manadoric in the form of... Oh, damn, I forgot the name of that card. Well, you know it. It's the Mystic... The 2-1 Manadoric from Teamwork Clan. His second land is a Windswept Heath. But no turn 2 play, which is very reassuring. Fortnots are coming down turn 3 on the play for me here. And now we can see why no turn to play. He has a couple more lands, Eldrazi Displacer, and the Megamorph, the Daphnis Raptor, I believe, and a Fenza Dramokus Command times 2, I believe. Took out on the Fenza here. I'm not exactly sure why. Probably I should have taken off the Raptor, I guess. He fetches up a forest end of turn. He does have a blue source in hand. I think it's another Windswept Heath or a Cave of Color. So anyways, he has the white source, so he can cast another in offense if he throws one or whatever it is. Actually, now that I think of it, I should have taken a Displacer instead, where it lists a Raptor. I think that was a pretty big misplay, not insanely bad, but still pretty insane. I guess what I feared was that if he plays an offense and I don't have a response to that, and then he can Dramokus commands and put a counter and fight my Fortnots here, stuff like that. While Deathmist Raptor, well, I can just ignore it and take some damage off of it and just not attack into it or block it with the Fortnots here. But this Blazer actually transforms into card advantage for him directly. On the other hand, I can also just ignore it. So, I don't know. Perhaps the difference is very minimal, but taking out on the Fenza there was, I don't know, feels like not the very optimal one. So this is Pilgrim, whatever age, the 3 mana ramp spell from Abzan, so land into hand and into play on the land drop for the turn, so good ramping for me. I'm on 7 mana as of now, although there could be Dramalkus commands coming up, and indeed it does off of Cape Coilus and the Forest, counter on the Displacer and fighting the Mystic. Displacer became 4-3, so it didn't die, and it smashed in for 4 damage. I go down to 16. That's not that terrible. Attack with the Seer. That's fine. So yeah, just so you know, we really wanted to play, and we really wanted to give you all this value and commentary and excitement of these two decks. So we actually recorded this with our phones, as funny as it is. Okay, Displacer, not him, a Warden of the First Tree. I think what happened was Spatial Consortium killing the Displacer, and the turn he also leveled up the Warden. And my other play that turn after attacking with the Footnote Seer was a Leaf Gilder. So I still have 6 mana, so potentially a lot of cool plays here. Consortium was played out of the Sanctum. So second command coming down, which I was aware of. He puts a counter onto the Warden and takes out the Gilder. So we're in a very peculiar racing scenario. Faced up that Protector here. The reason why it's in the Abzan Company deck is because while it's not a great flip target, but rebuying companies is one of the best things you can do with that deck. Another Nissus Pilgrim Mage, or whatever that card is called, so more ramping here. And because I hit Spell Mastery, thanks to a couple other spells in the bin, I get to fetch up for 3 lands actually. No reason for me to attack here, so Footnote Seer is staying on defense. Warden, it could be a problem here, but it's not gonna be level 3 just yet in a turn, so it's not insane. But this third Dramalkus command this game is making it a real challenge for me. Adding a counter to Warden and fighting Footnote Seer, letting him also to draw a card. Once the Footnote Seer gone, okay, you spoiled the Olamark in my hand. I'm at 5 life, so this is pretty insane. Deathmist Raptor is a good addition though. He also has the Hissing Quagmire, so there are a bunch of ways for him to actually win this. But Big Papa Ugin actually put an end to his hopes, unless he draws like, I don't know, Abzan Charm and more lands. The land can put Ugin down at 2 loyalty, for example, and I would really appreciate some extra life here. But next turn, Olamog coming down, getting rid of the land, so I should get myself quite safe. Also, I tapped 1 extra land because Sanctum was active there, so I had actually 9 mana there. Stepping Wastes, double Coilless, no, and the Forest and the Cave for a morph. That could be actually Protector or Deathmist Raptor. Luckily, the guys are exiled from the Ugin. I think he should have. He knew about the exile because he plays that deck, but perhaps he knew that like nothing really matters. But if that's a done protector, then actually it could matter. Okay, you probably saw Nissa's Ravine in my hands. That's 7 life and a bunch of lands, so that's pretty cool indeed, I think. So I can't exile the morph, but I can shoot it down with the Ugin. So he went for morph plus Eiley, which makes me think that that morph might be a raptor. But no, it's actually done protector. I'm not sure why he played it like this. So Ugin is at 6, Nissa Rain like gains me some life and more lands so that I can actually cast a bunch of things. I could have actually eaten the Sanctum when I cast Ugin to fetch up for something, but there was no need. When I cast it, I already had the Ulamog in hand. Okay, like I wanted just more mana, I guess, because I didn't have the Nissa's Ravine at that time. Isla's attacking Ugin, obviously. Ugin goes down to 4, that's more than fine. Another morph. So yeah, a few creatures should be exiled, because now it looks like they're all just in the bin. Perhaps he didn't play against ramp decks that much, while he definitely played a bunch with this ramp deck himself. So that kinda happens, all these reflexes. Okay, counting some mana, there's a temple there. Oh, okay, yeah, wait, I didn't actually tap an extra mana because it was Sanctum, not a temple, so I didn't have that extra mana. Now, like tapping a bunch of lands with some spares, eating the Sanctum, getting whatever I want, just another beef like a Kozilek, which I believe is the one of in his main deck. So Ulamog gets rid of the land, which is the most dangerous here. So yeah, it actually gets gets rid of that and the Eiley, which can like do stuff, but not so much. I chose Eiley over the morph because I can also just shoot down the morph with the Ugin, and I wanted to do that first because then if he decides for some reason to eat the morph, I can shoot his face. So, but yeah, the game is pretty much over. Basically, he needed to draw some collected companies on time when I was at 5 before I got to cast a Ravine, and then get some big mate out of it. And then he had a chance, I believe. But I closed down the window for him very quickly with that spell, but I think it was just a top deck. If I wouldn't draw it, I don't know. I don't think I would be that safe. He brings Endurances and Obliteration, which I don't think is that insane of a card against the ramp decks, but still. Okay, I bring in an extra Ugin. The guy, like the 7-drop that makes him basically destroy 2 permanents when it attacks. Bring in the Tween, that's 10 mana, 2 10/10s. Bring in another Spatial Contortion. I'm thinking about the count even, and I quickly realized that that guy is amazing. Shuts down all his 2-drops and 4-drops and shuts down all the companies, and then with a bunch of 2-drops he can't really attack or block, I believe. Anyways, like shutting down companies is so huge, and it's also another big body to diversify my win condition suit in the face of obliterations. And then what he actually told me what to take out in such matchups, uh, according to his experience, so he takes out a bunch of mana dorks, those 2 drops. His explanation is that this blanks his removal from a bunch of decks, and this way you just take out your worst cards, and I believe they are the worst cards in the deck, and you still have like the Hedron Archives and Pilgrimage and Revains and so on. My concern was that it makes the deck so much slower, and Abzan Company, I believe, is not that slow of a deck, although it's probably a bit slower than typical Abzan aggro right now because of rhinos and stuff like that. Although with a turn for company into like a couple of raptors or something like that, you can provide a lot of pressure and race very quickly. But I think against Abzan aggro I won't be so eager on cutting so many mana dogs, so I decided to cut off 4 Guilders and Mystics, because Mystics are better generally, because you can actually get a bigger mana boost if you morph them and etc. So they have a slight upside compared to Guilders. Basically, but they're more or less the same. So he takes out companies, takes out Islays, and that's pretty much it. So he boards in 4 Duresses, I think, or something like that, and 2 Obliterations. Which, trust me, is not amazing against the ramp decks, because they have so many different threats. But of course, taking out Ulamog's is the main concern, because not only it's a big body, it also nukes 2 of your threats. It also, if unanswered, just wins in 2 turns, even if you block it, I believe, because the milling ability triggers when it attacks, as far as I remember right now. Right. Just switching off internet so that all the notifications it pops up don't disrupt our match. Basically, yeah, the impression I got from this tag, from this match, is that the ramp just eats all the aggro mid-ranges for breakfast. Of course, if you play against mid-range with blue, that's a totally different story, because then you have to face all those counter spells and such. But I think it's still a fine matchup. We saw at some GPs and some Star City Opens when the ramp decks would just demolish like Dark Jeskai. We saw it like the other way around. So it can go either way, but it's not like somebody is a huge favor in that matchup. I think it's kind of even a lot of the time, and depending on the build of the blue mid-range control deck, it could vary a bit, and maybe sometimes even in slight favor for the ramp deck. Turn to Advocate, because his turn 1 was a Citadel, I believe that's what it's called, the Abzan land, the Trial Lands, and he for Forest. Meanwhile, I have a Forest and a Sanctum. I go for a Contortion and kill off his Advocate. It's an instant, and for a moment I think I forgot that he took out the Jermalko's command, so he can't actually boost his guy in response to the Contortion. Another Advocate and Canopy Vista. I go for the Pilgrimage, ramp a bit, so the land goes into my hands because I had a land drop this turn. well, it goes to my hands first anyway. So there is that. It's gonna attack for a couple of damage here. And then play a Raptor, but no 4th lands. That's a bit unfortunate for him. He really wants that 4th lands to be able to cast a company, especially before the Can't Even monster comes down. Yep, vegetation. More ramps. I never actually had a feeling that red was necessary. Okay, attack is a nice thing to have. Kozilek's return is also a nice thing to have. And most of the time, the whole splash thing is just a matter of like one basic mountain. I don't know. Okay, Ugin once again did its dirty work while my opponent got kind of mana screwed here, and yeah, this was a very huge turn. Very swingy. He got his 4th land, but tapped, so no company even if he had it in his hand at that point. This is just madness. Yes, I could have like sacrificed the Sanctum to fetch up like Ulamog or whatever, but didn't. I guess I wanted the mana. Ulamog plus on him. Oh, not Ulamog, Ugin. But then I cast the actual Ulamog, I get to eat the Sanctum, kill a couple of lands. Yes, he can respond and Abzan charm away the Ulamog, but then I get another Ulamog, and then this is over. Too much for him to handle. He really needed like Durasis for my Ram spells and Obliterations full of Ulamogs to protect his lands. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed it. I really enjoyed playing this ramp. Too bad I don't actually have it, so that's my teammate's deck. Don't have the Abzan company. I have a company standard deck, but it's pretty much elves or kinda chant aggro. Okay, I see you next time in the next video. Don't forget to subscribe, and good luck, have fun!